Hi, I'm Abby.
I'm Annabelle.
I'm Bree,
I'm Erin.
I'm Nicole.
and welcome to Book Babes. So this month we read Lightlark by Alex Aster, and I'm just going to read a quick synopsis for it. So it's Welcome to the Centennial. Every 100 years, the island of Lightlark appears to host the Centennial, a deadly game that only the rulers of 6 realms are invited to play. The invitation is a summons, a call to embrace victory and ruin, baubles and blood. The Centennial offers the 6 rulers one final chance to break the curses that have plagued their realms for centuries. Each ruler has something to hide. Each realm's curse is uniquely wicked. To destroy the curses, one ruler must die. Isla Crown is the young ruler of Wildling, a realm of temptresses cursed to kill anyone they fall in love with. They are feared and despised and are counting on Isla to end their suffering by succeeding at the Centennial. And also, spoiler warning, we will be talking about the entire book. So that's your only warning.
Yeah, if you haven't read the book,
Stop and go read it.
you don't want a spoiler. Maybe don't be on my live.
But yeah, so this book was very contradictory. No, that's not the right word I'm trying to think of. A lot of people were talking about it and had very different opinions when it first came out. Controversial, thank you. When it first came out. And I think from the little bits that I saw in the spoiler chat, that pretty much happened here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I overall enjoyed it. There
Same.
were points that I was like, about. Some of the writing was weird, but overall I enjoyed it.
I
The
kind of,
opposite.
I kind of had a problem with it. Felt like we didn't really go anywhere. It almost felt like the author wanted to do two separate things.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know if we want to give the whole plot of the book and then we can just talk about it. So if anyone who's listening can follow along. But I felt like I didn't quite understand what the point of the games were because there were all these trials ahead of
Mhm.
time, but then it never really went anywhere. There
And
was
we
no
never did the games.
Yeah,
there
there were no
were
real games or competitions.
It was
The
just like,
synopsis is
Yeah.
very misleading.
yeah.
it didn't, and then most of the actual plot seemed to start happening like almost two-thirds into the book, or maybe it was a half, I can't remember, when
Yeah.
she started going searching for whatever it was with the king.
The
I
curse
was like,
breaker or whatever it
The
was.
yeah,
heart.
I was just
We're
like,
looking
what
for the bond
where are
breaker
we going
with
with this? What's
yeah.
happening?
Yeah, and the whole bond breaker thing, I was like, how is it that they have this but no one's used it?
Or that no
Like
one knows it exists.
even the
Why?
king is like, we don't have anything like that. It's like at that point he would have just told her.
Right?
Yeah.
So like at that point I was like, okay, something's up.
I did not trust Celeste for the whole book. I was like, nah,
Right.
and then she almost died and I was like, oh, okay, maybe it isn't her.
Yeah.
That's
But then
exactly where I was. I was like slowly getting suspicious of her because she was being really pushy about finding the
I
bond
was
breaker.
no, I was
yeah.
suspicious of her from the start because I'm like, obviously innocent girl who doesn't know anybody.
Mhm.
I wasn't suspicious of her, but I did think she was going to die. I was like, oh, well, she's just dead. Like, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the friend, your one friend, RIP.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
I was like trying not to be suspicious of her because I was like, okay, yeah, she's pushy because she's gonna die at 25. So like it's
yeah.
fine. Like that's why she's trying to break it so urgently
I
and
mean,
stuff.
that
Like
makes,
that's fine, that's fine. Like I was trying to in denial about it, I think.
yeah.
But like I
Also,
didn't
we had
understand.
a whole thing about how her name is in fact pronounced Isla. If anyone is annoyed by the way we're saying it, it is how it is pronounced, and
Yeah,
it did bother all of us.
Yeah.
did in fact.
That is a real name that I think is usually pronounced Isla.
Hmm.
Yeah, literally the author in one of her announcements said Isla. And
Mm-hmm.
everyone's like, what?
I wonder if
Why?
it's original or something, or if she
I think
knows.
she was just trying to go to Island. So
Yeah.
But
Iceland, I guess. I don't know.
but it should even more be Isla.
Yeah, I don't know. She was trying to be unique, I guess. Maybe she mispronounced pronounce it once and she's like, well, that was recorded, so I have to mispronounce it the rest of the time.
It feels like maybe
Maybe.
even she's got a friend who pronounces it that way, or she knew someone who pronounced
Mhm.
it that way. If she
Maybe.
just made it up, then I have questions. But
Yeah. But anyways,
Maybe.
yeah, what were we saying before I
Okay,
realized?
what's the book about?
Oh,
Okay, so it starts out with this one girl, Isla, and she's like teleporting with this stick, and she comes back to her room, and her room is like boarded up. Everything, like the windows and everything, is boarded up. And then her two guardians come in, and it's these two women who like are awesome. And turns out that she's part of the wildlings, which their curse is that they have to eat hearts, and anyone they fall in love with has to die.
they like have to kill them.
Yeah, they have to kill them. And then their powers is like nature powers, and they're seductresses, basically. So like kind of like a siren thing.
Hmm.
And she has to go to this competition, which isn't a competition because like all the curses happened, and this is like the only time you can break the curse is like every 100 years. You have to go like to the island that just appears. And so she has to go to it because she's the ruler, and then all these other rulers show up, and it turns out everyone's there, which is like a weird thing because like normally not all the rulers are there. Like the super dark guy named Grim is there, and he's like
Names get me in this
the
book.
oh
evil
my God,
guy.
yeah.
Like he's supposed to be the evil guy
He's
of
the
the
bad
evil
boy.
realm.
Oh, okay.
Like, the dark and twisty guy, you know. So
Mhm.
his name's
Really old,
Grim
right?
something, but he just goes
Yeah,
by Grim.
he's
And
really good.
he controls like shadows and stuff.
Mhm.
And their curse is something about the moon, right?
No, I think he can't go out in the day. Hold on, I have the book.
Is it the
Conveniently,
opposite of Oro?
Yeah, I thought Oro can't go out in the day.
yeah, you're right, you're right.
Uh,
Curse
can't
will
go out
perish
at night.
outside after nightfall.
Okay, yeah, so he can't go out at night.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
then
so it's
so
like,
he's part of the Darklings?
yeah, so it's like weird. Like
nightshades.
the thing that they love the most is the thing that they can't do. Is basically
Yeah,
like,
for like some of them, though, not all of them.
yeah.
Yeah, like it
Weird.
makes sense
Weird.
for him
Yeah, some
because
of them
like
just
he's a
die.
nightshade, so he can't go out in the night. Like that curse makes sense.
Right.
And
Then the
then
sunlight
there's her
yeah,
best friend Celeste, who is a
star.
starling. They control the power of the stars, I guess.
Yeah, they can harness energy from the
And
stars and perform telekinesis,
yeah, and their
which I
curse
think
is
she didn't
they
use
die at
one.
25. They die
Yeah.
at 25. That's their curse. I don't know. That's like the most random one.
Well, but
Hmm.
then they
Uh,
do explain that later, why she
yeah,
picked that.
Not
yeah.
right when their prefrontal cortex develops. That's sad.
I know. So it's
Yeah.
like everything is so underdeveloped there because they have no like adults basically. They went into that a little bit. Anyway, and then there's the like sassy girl who hates everyone. And she's God, which region
Moonling.
is she?
Moonling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Her
Moonling. So
name's
they control the
Leo,
moon.
and she can't go out in the full moon. And I went, oh my God, this is H2O and Make a Mermaid.
Yeah,
What
literally
is
the
this
moon,
here?
if it's a full moon, the water tries to kill them. And then there's Oro,
Yeah.
which is like the High King, and he's got like everyone's power, but his curse is he can't go in the sun.
Hmm.
So he's like the High King of Lightlark, which is the island. And so he stays on the island even when it disappears and stuff. And then there's this one guy, I forgot his name, but he's awesome. He's like the Skyling.
Azul.
Azul, yeah, Azul. He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But he's a Skyling, which is his power is flight, but he can't fly anymore. That's his curse. And like I think they can do wind, something like that. And then so yeah, so that's
Yeah.
everyone. They all show up and they're like, okay, well, here we go. And then they go to the castle, and I guess they're like, after 25 days or 50 days, we can kill each other. But before that, you're not allowed to.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like some rules that were made after the
The
first.
rules are super weird. And then so like before the 50 days or before the 25 days, everyone has their own like each ruler has to come up with a competition
Or
for
like a
everyone
show.
else to do to like show like how powerful they are, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And like literally the competition ranges from swimming in ice cold water to what is your greatest fear?
Yeah.
Like it's all over the place. And
Strange.
then And then after 25 days, they get partnered up. And Isla wants to be partnered up with Celeste, who's her best friend, but that doesn't happen. And she gets partnered up with the king, the High King, Oro. And then turns out Oro wanted her to help her find the heart of the island because he thinks that has something to do with the curse, because no one actually knows how to break the curse. They just think they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, there's like this prophecy that everybody has interpreted in different ways, and they're all like, well, I think that we're supposed to kill somebody, and
But
fine.
they're not 100% sure how it works because everyone's like, maybe we do it this way this time. Maybe we do it this way this time.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So he thinks that they have to find the heart of the island. And so the rest of the book is like them hunting for the heart of the island while she's also hunting for the bond breaker, which is her and Celeste's idea to break their curses only, while everyone else is like, fend for yourself. And then, oh, and also Isla has no powers.
Yeah.
That happened in like chapter 4. She admitted that. So she's not affected by her curse. She has no powers, which makes that her realm is dying because she has no powers. And then, so they're hunting and hunting, and people are like trying to stop them. And then they eventually find it. And then she makes out with Grimm for some reason, even though he's like barely shown up in the book. And then, am I missing anything until like the end?
Not really.
Not really.
It's
No.
really them hunting for the things. Oh, and then Azul puts Celeste asleep because like there was like a danger or something. Oh, and King Oro is dying for some reason. So the island is dying. So there's like earthquakes and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Celeste like gets put in a coma.
yeah, and Oro seems to really not like her, but she doesn't like him either, so it's fine. And then towards the end, there's like and
A love
about
triangle.
yeah, all
Yeah,
of a sudden,
okay. And then so they found the heart and they're like, oh, we got to use the heart, blah, blah. And then she thinks that Oro is lying to her. So she ends up finding the bond breaker, taking it with Grimm to Celeste in like this house that they have in the wildling land that no one lives in. And then it
All the
turns
powers
out
don't work.
yeah, so
Except
apparently
wildling ones.
the wildlings, yeah, the wildling like house thing, castle thing. And so apparently
Alice
the
of
bond
Mirrors.
breaker actually steals powers
It's
from
a bond
you.
maker.
Yeah, a bond maker. So Celeste ends up stealing wildling powers
All the
and
powers.
Oro's powers and Grimm's powers because they're all in love.
that's right, yeah. Because if you're in love with someone, they
You have access to their powers.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it,
So
I
like
think
she has access to Grimm's powers and to Oro's powers. So through her,
Yeah.
Celeste stole all 3 of their powers. Even
Yeah.
though she doesn't have powers. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the way that she like kind of rationalizes it is like or explains it is that you like literally have access to that specific person's power. Like you could take it all away and they can take all of yours away.
Yeah.
But
So it's like a trust thing.
the
Yeah.
reason that
but,
she
like-
has power but doesn't have power is because her dad was a
A
darkling.
hunter or something.
He was like a
A darkling
nightshade or
hunter.
something.
So she
No,
had
her dad wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought her dad was just a random guy, and then the
Mhm.
mom fell in love and didn't kill him.
Mhm.
no, the reason that she doesn't have powers is because her dad
Doesn't
was
have
Oh yeah.
Grimm.
Never mind, I totally
yeah.
forgot.
or something. Her dad
Yeah,
was
that's
not
how her
actually
mom
Grimm.
got the star stick was from Grimm's employee.
Yeah.
Oh, and it turns out Grimm is working
She
with
actually
Celeste.
has both.
Yeah.
She can't figure
And-
out how to use it, which is such a Mary Sue thing to do. I'm sorry. No.
And
Yeah, and then Grimm is
and-
working with Celeste, and it turns out that she's been in love with Grimm this whole time, but he erased her memories.
she meaning Isla, not
Yeah, I'm
Celeste.
not Isla. Yeah, Isla has been visiting Grimm apparently for a long time, and they've been in love for a while with the teleporting stick. But then he erased all her memories before this so that they could do their plan of getting the bond breaker,
Mhm.
which is actually a bond maker. And then
Yeah.
it turns out that Celeste is actually someone from like when the first curse happened, and she's just been hiding as these rulers, and somehow she's not cursed. And
Versus.
it's like
Yeah.
a big old plot twist that's hard to explain unless you read the book. But basically, she's evil, and then Isla dumps her in a hole at the end of the fight.
Yep.
Yeah, and then
They break it down.
the hole with her powers.
That she suddenly has.
Yeah,
Oh
and
no, because they broke the curses, because
like,
that was the prophecy is what happened at the beginning. And what happened at the beginning was a wildling and the king fell in love. And then the one girl did stuff and then
this
someone
was
died.
chaotic.
Basically, they redid what happened to cause the curse the first time, and that's why all the curses were broken. And Isla, whatever, has powers now because her curse was the no powers, I guess.
No,
Yeah.
no. She still just
Well,
She
because
always had powers. She just
they were
was
just
told she
locked.
didn't.
yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't pull herself out. Oro pulled her out because
Right.
she's apparently in love with Oro. Surprise.
Yeah, so
Came out of nowhere.
she's in love with Oro because they've been hanging out the entire book. So like I got that, but I didn't understand where Grimm came from because Grimm showed up like five times.
They weren't flirting at all. They just hated each other. There was
Well,
no
at the beginning, but they like slowly started like being more comfortable with each
Like
other
when he
throughout
came to
the
like
book.
save her, or like when they went to the Moonling cave, like I could see where she was
They were
going with
slowly
it.
like he was
Oh,
slowly
no, I
opening
could
up to her
see that
and
they were making him fall for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was nothing in her mind about Oro. Like she never thought about him in any
yeah, but
way other than he's this guy.
I think she was somewhat in denial because like he's the High King that
Yeah.
she's supposed to hate. So like I think she was in denial about it and trying to hide it from herself, I guess in a way. And because she was so focused on Grimm because she had those like dreams and then like they made out
I
and
just
all this.
for me
Definitely
it was like
underdeveloped.
there wasn't even like a, oh, I hate him so much, like denial thought. There was no thought.
Mm.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a
All of
little bit
sudden,
more that she could have done.
because
It
I
did.
trust him. He's the only person I can trust. And I'm like, okay, that's a dumb reason.
Yeah.
That's a very I'm young, I'm falling in love for the first time reason.
Yeah. I did appreciate it seemed like at the end she was kind of like, yeah, I mean, like I think I kind of like you, but what I don't know what's going on. Like I'm reeling and there seemed to be a moment where she was kind of like, I don't know, man, we're gonna have to figure it out. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's
just
very torn about Grimm as well. She's like, we loved each other, but then he erased my memories and did all this fucked up stuff.
yeah,
And now I'm confused. And he
yeah.
was working with the bad guy the whole time. And I'm so confused about what in the world is happening right now.
Yeah.
right. For me, it was one of those, I'm just gonna have to disclaimer. This book made me very ragey. So I might be a little bit ragey during this. I apologize in advance. Anyways, for me, it was like she just suddenly was like, oh, well, but she has to end up with someone. And if it's a good book, no, she doesn't.
Yeah. I feel like the end of it with her being in love with him was a little rushed, but I get him being in love with her. And I think I don't know how it's gonna end up in the second book because I am gonna probably read the second book because I did enjoy this first one. So
Mhm.
maybe at the beginning, because like at the end, she was just more like, "Oh, we'll figure it out." Like her and Oro were. They were just kind of like, because she was like, yeah, but like I don't know. Or at
Mhm.
least that's how I remember it. So like maybe in the beginning of the next book, it's more like, well, I kind of rushed this. I don't know how I actually feel because Grimm is fucking me over type situation. So who knows? But yeah, there was a little bit that she could have added to like make it seem more like 50-50 and not just Oro loves her and she's like, okay, I trust you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I do get that. I do get that. So yeah, maybe the second book will fix it. I will let you know.
Yeah, let me know because I'm not reading it.
Definitely.
No,
Yeah.
Either.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
gonna read it.
Well, for me, it was one of those things that I think this is what infuriates me the most is that I wanted to like it so badly
Mhm.
because the story, like I wanted to know what happened. Like it was a cute world. It was a nice world. It had
Mhm.
so much potential and I hated it. Like
It's fine.
that's why I think so visceral about this. Like it had so much potential. The writing
Mhm.
was atrocious. The character development was subpar. Um and in my opinion, of course, everybody has, this is why reading is subjective. But it's just no. Like, I'm mad that she didn't do better because I wanted it to be good.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
why this book was so
Yeah.
controversial
yeah.
Yeah.
because of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There were too many ideas going on.
Agreed.
Like, I still truly to this day don't really understand the whole trials game thing. Like I listened to the audiobook in the end. And so I think that I missed some point in the beginning and I was like, I can't go back and figure it out. So I don't know. But I'm
Basically, the point of the trials was so that like whoever wins picked up or like picked the partners.
mhm.
And so they had to like see who was like the most powerful and like who could like who would they want to work with and all that stuff. And I feel like none of
Right.
the trials really, other than like the battle one, really did that.
Yeah, but then my thing is like, to what point? Were they going to all fight to the death? Was that what was happening? Like, I don't know what the point was going to be in the end. Were they just going to choose who dies and then the whole realm would die with them? Like, because if that's what we were doing, then that makes sense, I guess. Like, I get
Yeah.
it. We have to sacrifice someone, so this is how we're doing it. But
Yeah, that point was really confusing because it was like after 50 days you're allowed to kill. It's like, are you just gonna go into their room and like assassinate them? And all of a sudden everyone in their realm dies. And then it was like that made it seem like they were just gonna go around and just like assassinate everyone else but them and their partners. Instead of just like decide like amongst themselves who should die type thing.
yeah.
It sounds
So
like a very complicated game of kill, fuck, marry, but with
Yeah.
supernatural elements.
a little bit.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe it was because I don't know, what did we read the month before? It was that Egyptian one, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think because that one was so different and like I was like off about that book. I like more liked this book because it was like I don't know, it was simple.
This one I
Like
just wanted to know what happened. The other one I was like, I can tell you what's gonna happen. And then I would tell you what was gonna happen.
yeah,
Yeah.
that I don't know. I've got a very YA brain sometimes, and this very much read YA.
Mm.
And it was like she wanted to do a, I guess, magical Hunger Games in the synopsis, but then it wasn't that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what it sounded like in the synopsis, and then it's not. They don't even like talk to each other. Like,
And so something that I found really interesting was the switch, I guess, because for me,
Yeah.
last month's book, well, it could have like do better, sure. There were things that I didn't love about it, and it was a longer read than this one. I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more. This book was a really quick read.
but it was hard for you to do.
Yeah. Go around, Sophia, go around.
I'm not gonna lie, like I
Sorry.
was the bad book club member who did not finish the book. And I'm really glad I didn't from the sounds of it. I don't dislike YA. But this plot is
It was very YA, I feel like.
something.
Yeah.
I mean, like if
From
there's
how like
there's
we're
a
explaining it.
in a definition of this is a YA book,
Mhm.
Mhm.
this book would be in there.
Yeah. From how I'm explaining like the storyline, it sounds very convoluted and it's not as convoluted as I was making it sound. It was just trying to remember what I read from the beginning of the month because I read it first.
Mm.
So I was like trying to make sure I hit all the points, but it wasn't as convoluted as what I was making it sound.
And it also
But
makes it sound like you
yeah,
hate it,
some
and
of
I know
it.
you didn't. So
Yeah.
for the record.
Yeah. Some of it had moments where I was like, okay, like every 5 chapters or something, she's like, if I had powers, it would be doing this. And it's like, we get that you don't have powers, you don't have to keep repeating that.
Yeah.
Like that I didn't like. Cause like, for example, when they were all running because something was happening, she's like, if I had powers, it'd be raging right now. And all that. It's like, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, another thing that really, really, really infuriated me was like she would do these descriptions Like she was trying to describe something flowery and beautiful, but she had no idea how to describe anything. So, like in the beginning of the book, she describes the tree.
You were really hung up on this tree.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
I
is,
am.
she is hung up on this tree.
We have 10 minutes left before we have to switch, just FYI.
Okay.
But this tree, okay, so she walks in and she's all, I'm gonna read it from here. It made me so angry.
He would not shut up about this
She
tree,
would
by the
not
way.
shut
It's
up
a
about this tree.
very,
Oh God, it's so funny.
it's a huge point for her. Like almost everything she talked about, she's like, the tree.
If we ever
tree.
make merch, we should do like a little of this tree or whatever.
I hate the tree.
I hate the tree.
Not the tree again.
This tree made me mad.
Play with the tree already.
Okay, I'm not gonna spend the time looking for it. But basically, she walks in and she's like describing this tree that's in the center of the foyer or whatever, and she's like, it's an oak tree with pink flowers and flowering fruit. And I'm like, have you ever seen an oak tree? They do not have flowers. And I'm using this as like so yes, the tree, but this is how she did everything throughout the book. It's like, that's not how you do an analogy, okay? It resembled an oak tree, but it had pink flowers and flowering fruit. Also, what the fuck is flowering fruit?
That goes on the shirt. What the fuck is a flowering fruit? That's on the shirt.
Yeah.
With like an apple that has a flower on top or something.
There you go, perfect.
Yeah,
I will have you know that oak trees in Minecraft have flowers on
They
them.
do.
So she's only ever seen an oak tree in Minecraft.
No.
Yes.
Hey, I mean, which is completely okay.
Man, now I want to go play Minecraft.
But
Yeah,
like
man.
all of her descriptions of things were like that. Like they made no sense. She
Yeah.
was clearly
Especially in
trying
oak trees.
Steve was laughing at me because the teacups, the tell your truth teacups, there were
Mhm.
cups and 4 words, and I was like, there's only 3 cups.
There's only 3 cups. I had the same. I was like, nuh-uh. And
That's
then the King's was like 2 words. And I was
Yeah.
like, what? Clearly I'm very much a don't make me think too much when I'm reading your book reader, and you, Annie, are a very please make me think and like focus and pay attention to what's happening.
I want it to be logical. Like
Absolutely.
if
It's
it's
not that I
all
don't.
flowery words, that's fine. If it's logical, this was
Yeah.
Okay.
logical.
Annie, how about this? How about this? The reason that the oak tree is flowering and there's flowering fruits is because they control nature. They can do whatever it wants.
Except that they
Whoa.
couldn't. That was in Lightlark.
I'm trying to help you here, Annie, so you like this
No
tree.
wildlings in Lightlark.
Just pretend it's a
Because
Minecraft tree.
I
Like,
just
okay.
like needed I have been in like the worst reading slump this year, and so I think I just needed something easy, quick. I didn't really need to like actually think too hard about, just because
See,
I have so much going on that I needed to get through it, and this
for
was easier to get through.
for me, a book that I don't think about is like Bridgerton. It's a romance book. You're not really worried about the world. You're literally only worried about the relationship and their interactions. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like all of this world building and stuff was supposed to happen, and it just kind of didn't.
Yeah. I mean, I just didn't think too hard, I think, during this book. I don't know. Because all of the points that you brought up and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, I guess that did happen, huh? Huh, I didn't think about that.
Is that like I'm more into reading high fantasy lately?
I recommend John Gwynne, by the way, if you're reading high fantasy.
Noted. But like, high fantasy or, a more adult fantasy where it's like just a more,
Intricate.
yeah, more like Crescent City, right? So it's more
Oh
intricate.
God, Crescent City is something else.
It's heavy. You got to get through all of that. But once you do, there's this beautiful world and this beautiful realm. And
Okay, so you just weren't in the mind space for something to like you're supposed to just let it be.
well, I think more more than anything, it's because I'm reading it for this. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be judging this book, right?
Mhm.
Gotta have something to talk about.
Yeah. And
But
so,
even having nothing to talk about is something to talk about.
right. But so I'm paying attention to it because I know that we're talking about the book when we're done. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Okay, I get that. It's kind of like a at school type thing where it's like
Right.
you're kind of analyzing it a little bit harder because it's
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
this.
So if I had
Okay.
been like casually reading it to read it, I probably wouldn't have noticed most of those things. I probably would have just breezed over them.
Yeah. I think that's what I kind of do with those kind of books is that I just kind of breeze through it. And I'm just like, okay, the main plot points I'll have something to talk about. But like little stuff like the tree, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna imagine that it's because it's a fantasy world. That's why the fruits are flowering.
Yeah.
Like it's just a special little thing that they have that the author didn't really think about too hard. So like, but I get your point though. I get like I do look at it a little extra, especially
Mhm.
when I'm like, oh, I want to put something in spoilers. What am I talking about right now? Okay, so I did want to bring up one thing. I don't understand why they're more afraid of the nightshades than the wildlings. Because like I brought this up in the spoiler chat because like the wildlings eat hearts. They kill anyone they fall in love with. They basically mind control
Yeah.
because of like their siren stuff. It's like that's way more terrifying than someone who can't go outside at night.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's more their like the Nightshade's powers they're worried about. Because they have like shadow wielding or something, and they are like able to use that to like teleport, but like Grimm also mentions that he could like swallow up the entire ocean and like blah 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 blah. And so
Yeah,
he
the
like
nightshades were the night court.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
but I'm thinking that he has more power than everyone else. So it's like, yeah, but like on a daily basis, nightshades are probably not that powerful. Like a regular nightshade.
the only two notes that I apparently wrote down for this book were, "How did you get in here?" She asks the man who can walk through walls. Um, and then the other one was just once, I'd love for these male main characters to wear colors. Like wear a color. And then later in the book, it's like part of the curse is he can only wear black. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
It wasn't part of the curse, but it's very like I am Nightshade, I wear black. I am Sunling, I wear gold.
It was very Harry Potter.
He
These are the
said
colors
something
of our
like
house.
that. They
Yeah.
said, yeah, I mean, maybe I wasn't paying attention enough, which is entirely possible, but it felt like it was part of their curse that they had to wear these colors, but maybe they were just representing their courts or whatever.
Because
Yeah,
they said
but
Well,
that
no,
he
because
has all of the powers, so he could wear all of the colors,
yeah.
but he doesn't have all of the curses. That'd be messed up. Can you imagine not being able to go outside night or day? God
and
damn.
then like during the full moon, the
And then you
ocean's
die at
you
25.
die at 25. Oh
Man,
my God, you have to eat hearts.
Damn, that'd be brutal.
I
Bro, if
just
I had
think
all this, I'd be like, I'm
I just
done.
think
I
it
was
needs a
gonna,
meaner editor, frankly, as ever.
yeah.
It's just like someone
I
needed to
really
come in and be
agree.
like, hey, listen, we got to tighten this up. Like, you've got
Mhm.
some good ideas here, but we need to make some hard choices about some of
That's
these.
that's another shirt. This needed a meaner
Oh
editor.
yeah, because we
Two
said that
books in a
last
row.
time, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
It's a
that's
meaner
kind of my
editor.
thing always. It's just like someone needed to come in and be like, look, I love you. I love what you're doing.
Hmm.
Let's get this together a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's do it better.
Yeah, this could be much better.
Yeah.
But I don't know, was this traditionally published or is this one of those ones that they did it themselves and then it got
Nope.
I
It
I
was like
think
wildly published because she had like a movie
her
deal with it and like all of this
sister,
stuff.
a movie deal?
Yeah, I
I
don't know what
think her
happened to that, but that was like a
sister
big
was like
thing.
So
involved in
this was
something or
part of the controversy, the TikTok controversy, because like it was traditionally published,
Mhm.
sort of, but like there were some rumors about how she got the publishing deal,
Hmm.
like her sister paid for it or something like that.
I mean, I frankly, I don't care about that. Like, that's how these things work anyway. Like,
But so I think that I'm pretty sure it was traditionally published, and I'm trying to figure the publisher is Amulet.
And apparently, she posted this December 17th, 2023 on Instagram. She said that Universal Studios preempted Lightlark in a seven-figure deal with the
Seven
producers of Twilight.
Good for
great.
her.
Oh.
Very Twilight. Yes,
Yeah.
actually,
This
now I'm
is
getting it.
in 2023 though, at the end of 2023 though. So I don't know like
I mean, that
how
wasn't that long ago.
yeah, but you know, I
Yeah.
haven't heard anything else about it like on TikTok or anything. And she just is about to release her third book and she's not talking about the movie deal at all anymore. And
Well,
Yeah.
and she did release her third. All three of them are out right now.
oh, I didn't know when the third one was released. I know she just announced it.
It's out,
Oh,
and they
okay.
come out in such quick succession.
Mhm.
Like,
It's kind of happening nowadays, to be
I feel like
honest.
this
She
came out
needs a
last.
meaner editor.
Needs to be an editor.
Didn't this come out last year?
No, this was like,
Yeah, I think so. I think it came out last year
wasn't
because
this like I guess
2020.
2022.
oh, okay. So
Like
one a
the-
year.
The opposite of George R.R. Martin. She's like, have another.
Right?
I mean, that's kind of happening now, to be honest, is that they're coming out much faster, like these
Mhm.
series. Like for example, Powerful or Powerless, the Lauren Roberts series. She just released her second book like literally last week or the beginning of this week, and she's announcing her third book. And
Mhm.
like it's gonna come out at like the end of the year or something, which like I'm excited about because I loved the first book and I'm literally going to her book signing on Friday for the second book.
That's so
And
exciting.
I'm so excited. Yeah, she's gonna sign all three of my books by her. It's nice.
Yay.
But yeah, and so I'm excited for her to have like a third one, but I'm hoping that it's like as good. And people are saying that the second one is super good and all this, but it's just happening now. I think it's more or less happening now where it's like the first series that these authors have, they're doing it fast because I think maybe the publishers are like, I need two books done
Mhm.
Well,
before I release the first one.
That's
I do
entirely.
think there's like a practical aspect too. Like if you're writing young adult fiction, you got to get this series out quick because your audience is going to age out of the
Yeah.
genre otherwise. Like
Um,
I still read young adult and that's fine. I read it less now than I used to,
Yeah.
but there is sort of a you gotta strike while the iron's hot kind of a thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's like popularity too. So it's like your first book is super popular now. You got to get it going because you're not an established author yet.
Yeah.
So it's not like Sarah J. Maas or anyone like that where they can
Even
take
with,
2
like,
years.
Yeah.
Fourth Wing and Iron Flame and Rebecca Yarros being like an established author, she really like hit the gold mine with Fourth Wing. And the second one came, she needed a meaner editor for the second one, guys.
Yeah.
I still am so scared about the end of that book, by the way. I
I
still think
didn't
about
even
it.
read the second one. I didn't care enough. I didn't even Google the plot. I was like, I'm done.
Oh, apparently Rebecca Yarros changed her profile picture on I think Facebook to something that said chapter 3. And so someone looked at the chapter 3 of the first book. And this is spoilers, by the way, if anyone hasn't read Fourth Wing, just plug your ears. But the beginning of it, it says like, who's the bad guy, the dude that we thought died? What was his name again?
Jack.
Yeah, him. So it was like he might kill me, but I think Xaden might get to it first. And it was like the beginning of chapter 3. So it's like maybe that's what chapter book 3 would be for, because he's like bad now.
Yeah.
Oh.
It hurts. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
That's just what someone found that out, but she could have been talking about book 2. I don't know, but I just saw that one TikTok and I thought that was
Interesting.
heartbreaking.
I don't want to talk about it, okay? I was literally sobbing on a plane when that happened. It was
Yeah.
really bad.
Traumatized.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The end of that book made me cry also.
I
Yeah, it
texted
was-
Eddie. I was like, I can't. I'm like
No,
on a
okay.
plane. Like,
Not even kidding. So we went to like this witch fair in Sebastopol, I think. And I was like, I had maybe 40, 50 pages left in the book. And we were at this book fair and the this girl that I was talking to, I bought like a bookmark from her or something, and I was talking to her about the books, and she had, Fourth Wing bookmarks, and I was just like, oh, I'm about to finish Iron Flame, and she was just like, don't do it alone. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, I'm gonna finish it in the car on the way home. And she was like, okay, good luck. So I was kind of warned.
She's like, I'm terrified for you.
Right?
I
And
love
so
it.
I'm like in the car reading it, and then I just start bawling on the way home. And
That's
Steve's
me
like,
being like, hey, Annie, are you on this chapter of Assassin's Blade yet? Yeah, call me.
yeah, basically. So I'm like bawling on the way home, and Steve's like, you good? And I'm like,
Okay, anyway, back to the book we read.
Yes. We read Lightlark this month,
Fourth
not
Wing.
Dragon Book.
Lightlark.
And Lightlark, that one. Okay, is there
I
any other
love the
quotes
cover, by the
anyone?
way. I
I know,
really
it's such
The
a pretty
cover's
cover.
beautiful.
The whole series has such pretty covers.
I know. I want to own them all because they're so pretty, but I don't want to read them.
Hey, the front cover, there's your blooming fruit.
There you go.
A heart. That's not a
Yeah, it's a fruit.
It's a heart.
I was
It's a
also
fruit.
very confused where the heart was. Was it the egg yolk? I was so confused.
Oh, the heart was like something they said looked like an egg.
Yeah, I was like,
They
what the-
were
I
not.
read it like 3 times and like could not understand what was happening.
I don't know. They described it 4 different ways. I don't know. I think it's just like this big thing of light. I don't know. I
Yeah.
was thinking like an orb, like an inside out.
The vibe that
Mm.
I got from that was that it looked different depending on who was looking at it and whose
Hmm.
impression of
I like
Okay.
that. I prefer that, and if it's not canon, it is now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that is a little confusing because they described it like 4 different ways. So I don't know. Maybe if they do come out with a movie, it'll confirm some stuff.
right.
Hopefully, the movie will have a meter edit.
You're gonna have a meaner editor. You'd think so.
I don't even care how bad it
Twilight
is. I'm gonna
people.
watch it just to watch it.
Real.
Like all those kind of movies, I just watch them to watch it, to be honest.
That's
Fair
really
enough.
interesting. Do you guys, if there's a movie, do you have any actors you would like to see play certain people?
I have no clue. I just hope they're not established actors. I hope that they're like newer ones
Mm-hmm.
See,
because I feel
can't-
like that would be better.
I have a hard time picturing things in my head. What's it called? Like aphantasia?
Yeah.
That. Like, not like all the way I can't see anything. Like, sometimes I can see it's
No, I
weird.
get it. Yeah.
So
We're not
like,
even going to talk
people,
about that.
I
It breaks my
just-
brain.
yeah. I like can't come up with my own people in my head, so I just literally have to look up like fan art. Even like the only ones I looked up fan art for was like Oro. Because I was like, are we sure this man isn't like 40? No, he's like,
Yes.
young.
Yeah.
Well, except that he's not, right? Isn't he really old as
He's
well?
like really old, but
I mean,
he's
so is Graham.
They look,
Yeah.
yeah, that was really interesting that they were both like from the original Curse. Like they were there.
and then ended up being Celeste as well.
Yes.
Like all 3 of them were from the beginning, and then
Yeah.
like I don't know.
It was interesting because you can have a character that's like younger but acts a little bit older. It was interesting that Oro, I had completely dismissed him as an actual love interest because he did read as like 40 and she read as like 19.
Yeah,
Same.
Yeah.
Versus Grimm read younger as well.
Yeah.
That was an
absolutely.
interesting kind of like, oh, they're both old, but
Mhm.
Well, Graham was going back and forth for me. Like every once in a while, he seemed like he read 40, and then other times he read like a Rhysand type thing.
he
Mhm.
had that
And it
like
was like,
serious, and then you can find out why, but I'm just like, I'm so over that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was something. I was kind of creeped out by the whole like, oh yeah, they originally had a plan for her to seduce Oro, like the Guardians did, and I
Which
found
they
that
never
really-
like explicitly said. They just said like, oh, the Guardian's plan was
To do that.
they just like hinted at what it was, but they never once
I'm
explicitly
pretty sure
said.
she said in her brain that like she's supposed to get him to fall in love with her, so she has his powers or something.
I think I would have been honestly more interested in that as a plot because I think I'm more in it for like political intrigue is more interesting to me than just like straight up fighting. I don't know.
Yeah, that's valid.
Well, and then also one of the things that kind of bothered me was that like there was no real explanation as for why it had to be this competition where everybody fights and somebody has to kill the other one. Like
The killing had the explanation of the like original riddle,
right,
but
but they're all killing each other. Like you don't
yeah,
need to kill everybody. You need to
yeah,
come together and figure out what's going on.
yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. It was weird that like every 100 years they'd be like, "Hey, maybe this is the explanation. Let's try this." But it's like, have they never killed anyone else? Because like to try to do that because like all of the realms are still there.
I think it would have been interesting if there had been a realm that had died at some point, and it was like, okay, well, that's clearly
Not
not
what we're
it.
supposed to do.
So I guess we'll keep trying.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
That would have been way more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then like maybe when all the curses are broken, a baby is born with like those old powers or something.
Oh, I love that
I
actually.
love that.
I'm gonna go write a book real quick. I'm gonna go rewrite Lightlark.
I like this plan.
And
I like this plan.
collectively, we're your meaner editor.
Thank you, thank you. I need a meaner editor. So okay, any other points anyone wants to make before we go to ratings?
No, not for me.
Okay, well, I rated it a 4 star, and the only reason I rated it 4 and not 3 is because of the plot twist at the end, because I didn't see it coming, and I actually enjoyed that plot twist.
I gave it, I think I gave it like a 3.25. Didn't like love it, but didn't like loathe it. I also just realized that Brie and I are much closer to the YA age than you two are. So
Yeah.
that might be
That
Yeah,
might have had a factor in it.
it contributes, definitely.
But yeah, so I think I give it like a 3.25, something like that.
I gave it 2 stars. I am the meaner editor.
It's the tree.
That's the shirt. I am the mean editor.
Yeah.
Literally, your review was just like the tree and with an angry emoji, and then that was it.
Don't get me started. That's so funny. I think I gave it like 2.5 or something. Because for me, like a 2 star is like that's like the worst level of book that I'll actually finish. And I don't rate anything 1 star because I don't finish books that would be 1 star. I think I probably only rate something 1 star if it was like this is actually offensive and other people need to know that this is not good. But I think I gave it like 2.5 or 2.75. Like the ideas were there. I just feel like if it could have been executed a little bit better, I think it would have been a little bit better. But not everything is for everybody and people like what they like. So I think that also just I am at this point not the target audience for this.
Right,
So,
reading is subjective.
exactly. So I don't think it's like terrible. I just think like this was not for me and it could have been improved a little bit. So
Yeah, no,
Definitely
there are definitely improvements that could be made.
for sure. That's why it's, 3.5 stars instead of 5. Like,
yeah.
Hey, maybe I should read book 2 because maybe she got a meaner editor.
I was thinking the same thing. I was
I'll
like,
let you guys know. I'll let you guys know. I think I'm going to Barnes and Nobles on Monday, and I may or may not pick it up. So I'll let you guys know
Okay, let me know.
if it has a meaner editor or not.
We want this can be our little like side quest like review like well okay here's the book we want to hear about book report.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, Annie, did you ever read the second book of last month's book? Were you
It's not
going
I
to?
don't think it's out yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not
I
out
wasn't
yet.
sure if it came out or not.
No,
Definitely have to keep us updated on that.
Yes, I did read The Nice Dragons finish last as
Oh,
Did
yeah?
you? Did you really?
it was honestly pretty good.
There were
Really?
so many good reviews of it. I
Yeah.
was really surprised.
It
Was it a shifter romance?
There was
Slutty shifter romance.
wasn't a romance at all.
Oh.
It was
really?
like
What?
the start of a slow burn. Like I can see this is going to be over like several books. It was new adult. It was pretty cute. I liked it better than Lightlark.
There's no way with a title of like that it was not smutty.
Crazy.
No, not at all. Like there's a kiss.
That's insane.
That's
Yes.
crazy.
It was
I'm
pretty good.
glad I picked that out by accident, and it was
It's really good.
Enjoyable.
In the beginning, I was like, okay, I'm probably just like gonna finish this as like for the plot, right? For the bit. But then it picks up and I was like, no, wait, this is actually really decent. This is pretty good. Like
That's insane. With
That's
that kind of name, that there was no sex scenes. That's insane.
no, it was really funny. It was like it's like a futuristic sort of urban fantasy kind of thing. So
Mhm.
it was good. Like it's more of what's the word? It's kind of like a detective PI kind of puzzle. They're like tracing down these different people. Anyway,
Interesting.
yeah, it was really interesting. Like he has to find someone or his mom who's kind of evil will like kill him and eat him. So it's like a whole thing.
Okay.
I read like the first chapter, I think, of it,
Mhm.
and his mom is like needlessly angry.
She's terrible.
She's awful. She's just
Yeah.
like, do this or I'll fucking kill you. And I'm like,
Yeah, and my understanding is that like she will, or she,
yeah.
his sisters. He's got like a billion siblings because they're dragons. So his mom lays like clutches. Anyway, whatever. It's like a whole thing. It's anyway. I kind of liked it actually. Give it
It's
a
called
chance.
Nice Dragons Finish Last, right?
Dragons finish
That's
last. It was clever.
looking.
I
It's
think.
on Kindle Unlimited.
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
The second book is called One Good Dragon Deserves Another.
Yeah, I think I'm
And
gonna.
the other one, it's Last Dragon Standing, and then it's a dragon of a different color.
Mhm. Yeah, because
Yeah, well, it's on Kindle Unlimited, so I may or may not read it.
yeah, it was really decent. The whole deal is that like he has no ambition and he's not cutthroat and ruthless like all the rest of his siblings. And his mom's like, "You're an embarrassment. You have 24 hours to fix this, or I'm gonna kill you," basically. Yeah, it was like, okay, cool. And then he runs into like a human mage who has like loan sharks after her. It's like a whole thing.
Okay, that's a lot going on.
Honestly, it made sense though.
Okay.
It was like, all right, I get it. I get what's happening.
Okay, well, it's on my TBR now because I'm interested. That is a lot, and I want to know how it works.
Yes. It was good.
But I know you were so disappointed that it wasn't a dragon shifter smutty romance.
Listen, I can get that in other places. I am good with
Okay. The other day I found this TikTok and it was like a demon who like inserts its tail and uses it as a leash or something, and I immediately sent it to Nicole and I was like, this is for you.
And I was like, wait, but what book is it?
No, because it is like a book or something. I think in the comments they were saying something about it. I was like, what is this? Like, what? And then there was a picture of literally like an outline of a demon with his tail in between a girl's legs.
Yeah.
It was an outline though, so it was like a shadow, like black
Yeah.
outline. You didn't see anything, but you saw what it implied.
Yeah, absolutely you did.
So
So,
for
yeah, it
science,
was-
what's the name of that book? Because
I don't think it's out yet. That's the thing.
Steve, if you're still on the live, can you come get our son?
Oh my God.
Okay, well, that's what she read recently.
Yes.
I just finished Ruin by John Gwynne. It's the third book of a high fantasy series that I highly recommend. It took me forever to finish because of how long it is, and like it's high fantasy, so I got to like be in a mood to be like, okay, let's read about this huge thing that's happening.
Mhm.
But at the end, someone, maybe it was implied that they died, and I almost cried. But I don't know if it died because it was literally like the last sentence it implied, because like the person didn't hear them anymore.
Oh no.
Doesn't mean that that they died, because like in the next book could be they found them and they were like almost dead, you know?
Yeah, cliffhanger.
So I'm hoping. But so that's what I just read.
Yeah, I've been in a reading slump, so I think this is the only book I read this month. I can't remember if I finished Throne of Glass at the beginning of this month or by the time we had the meeting for last month, but I finished Throne of Glass. Very much enjoyed it. We'll be continuing the series at some point eventually. But I have so many other books to read that I already own. So yeah, there's that.
You need a soundproof room, man.
One day you'll get it.
You'll
Yeah.
get there.
You know what? Next month, I'm just going to use Anthony's room.
There you go.
Close
Very
the door. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
Annie, what have you been reading?
So much.
What is the last book you read
Mhm.
and finished? How about that?
Oh, the last book I finished? I don't remember.
Okay, I thought that was gonna be an easy question. Okay, fine. What are you reading now?
Like multiple books at a time, and I don't remember which one. We finished what's it called? My brain it's checked out. Currently, I am reading the Eloise Bridgerton book.
Okay.
And how
I
do
am
you feel?
I haven't started it, so I know nothing except for how it ended in the Holland book.
for the book Eloise, it makes sense.
Okay.
Right. I know show Eloise.
It's an entirely different character.
Very different. Yeah, it's an entirely different character.
Yeah.
Show Eloise is like 110% a feminist who never wants to get married.
Yeah.
Book Eloise is like, a normal girl who just doesn't really care, and if she's gonna get married, it has to be perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
I
I
noticed that
appreciate
about
that
the
in individuals.
books.
You know what? I appreciate that.
Me too.
Yeah. Like she's had so many freaking um proposals, and she's just like, you're boring.
And she's
No.
wealthy, so she can kind of do what she
Yeah,
wants.
she can
Her
kind of do
brother's
whatever
not
she
gonna
wants.
force her into anything.
I very much enjoyed that she just showed up and like full on just became the woman of the house. Like she shows up as a guest and he's like, what the fuck? And she's just like, whatever, and goes into the freaking kitchen and is like having a conversation with the cook.
Mhm.
And like, oh, can you do this? Can you do XYZ? Like,
Yeah.
she orders lunch for him and he's like, why are you acting like this is your home? And it's like, you literally invited her to come over and make this her home.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're
Then when women do the thing they offer them the ability to do.
right.
Huh?
No, and then the fact that like, his children are unmanageable and she's like, oh, it's like they're like my brothers. And immediately deals with it. Did he just unplug that?
Kids, am I right?
Absolutely.
Well,
Manageable children. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
no, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. I was going to flee the country yesterday.
Oh, I love them.
They're great. I love them. I still want to flee the country. Who wants to go with me?
Hey, that's
Gladly.
just motherhood, though.
Go.
Let's go.
I'm also currently reading Can't Spell Treason Without Tea. That's my current bedtime book for Mikey. Very cute so far.
So it's like one of the Travis Baldry books, kind of.
It's very similar, yeah.
Okay.
Then I'm
You have like
also
4 books you're reading?
Huh?
You have like 4 books you're reading?
I usually do.
I'm also reading it's called How to Swindle a Scoundrel. How to Swindle a Scoundrel by Dalila Karim.
That sounds really familiar. I think I probably saw it somewhere.
So I have the advanced reader's copy. It's not officially published yet.
Oh, okay.
I met the author at a Supernatural Comic Con or Supernatural Convention, whatever, last year. And so I guess she was reaching out to some of her fans and seeing if they would be interested in an ARC. And so she sent me one. Dipped.
She left. She said bye.
She's gone.
Peace. Anyway, so far it's really good. It's really cute. I have notes on it.
Oh no.
Oh no, her laptop died.
For me. So I have notes on it. It's a lesbian romance novel. There's again, I'm reading it from a critical eye because I want to give her feedback. If I wasn't reading it from a critical eye, I'd be like, this is the cutest thing ever. But because I'm reading it from a critical eye, I'm like, well, she could have done a little bit of better job with this or that. But for the most part, it's really cute. It's a really good book. It's engaging. And then I'm also reading A Day of Fallen Night, which is like a prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree.
Oh,
I think that's all I'm reading right now.
that's a lot.
I'm listening to a book. It's through Kindle with like the text to speech, so it sounds very much like a TikTok Reddit story reading, which is very interesting. I don't know if I like it, that whole aspect of listening, but anyway, I don't have time to like actually sit and read.
I might have to try that one of these days.
Yeah, and it's Morning Glory Milky Farm, so I
Yes.
regret nothing. It's very good.
It's
It's
so
very
good.
good. It's very good
Um,
and hot. So
yeah, no, I can't start my 5th book until July 9th because that's when I get my next Audible credit.
Oh my gosh.
Man. So if that is what we are all reading, next month, July, we are reading The House of the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune.
That's our sit down.
Someone said they went to buy it in the bookstore.
Yeah, that
Lady
was
said
me.
it was like
She
her
was
favorite
like,
book ever.
she was like, oh, this is the best book. This is like my favorite book. And I was like, really? You know, we're reading it for our book club. And she's like, you have such a cool book club. I was like,
I
yes,
picked
I
such a
do.
good book, guys. I picked such a good book. The last time the bookstore lady was like, wow, I love this book. It was A Dowry of Blood, which we all know I thoroughly enjoyed. So I have really high hopes.
Yeah, no,
So I think it's gay.
she was like, this is her book that she recommends to everybody. This is her all-time favorite book. Like,
That's rad.
yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
I've heard great things about it. So
Same.
if you see anything about a controversy concerning this book, I would not listen to said controversy until you finish the book,
okay.
Okay.
because
Okay.
otherwise it might influence how you feel about the book.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yes. So do not
Okay.
listen to the controversy until after,
Okay.
Okay.
because I've listened to it and I don't like feel badly about it, but I feel like there are some people who definitely do.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So
I mean,
not to put a damper on it, because I think it's going to be really good.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
See, because now I'm intrigued and I want to know, but like I know I don't actually want to know.
yeah.
You don't.
Oh no. Okay. Did you guys, sorry, this is like, I was just thinking controversies and now I'm doing a total thing. I saw today that Bridgerton season 3, the show, they used Chat GPT to write it.
Nuh-uh.
Are you
That's
kidding?
I mean,
crazy.
listen, I saw one TikTok. It's possible that it was totally made up, but everyone was like, "Oh, that's why it was bad this season."
That's
Because,
the thing, though. Like,
yeah, they used
continue.
like,
Yeah.
metrics and stuff.
That wouldn't really surprise me. I'm not saying it was like a terrible season, and I'm not going to get into it too much, but like the last episode for me was so disappointing in so many different, like, and I liked the ending. It was cute, but like I'm trying to get to the end where I see what happens to Penelope. I'm not trying, and I love Holly people. You guys fuck all day. Do your thing. But when you keep just like popping up, like, oh, and they're fucking. Oh, and they're fucking. Oh, they're fucking again. Like,
Yeah,
I get it. Let's get to the end. Let's
Yeah.
get to the end. Don't keep show like I love smut. I'm all about that shit.
yeah,
And it just seemed like really over sexualized, like the whole relationship between the three of them seemed like very, which don't get me wrong, they're sexual, little horny guys, like whatever, do your thing. But yeah, I don't know. It's
Anyway.
like, oh, they're poly threesome. They're
yeah,
poly threesome.
yeah,
It's like, Jesus, we get it.
yeah.
Sorry, I popped off about that, but like,
No, totally. I mean, I didn't even finish the first episode of season 3. I couldn't do it.
I
I was
haven't watched
upset by
any of the show, so
Yeah. The first season, the first couple seasons are good. I have a problem with what some of the things that they changed from the books, just because I liked the books and my favorite parts about the books seems to be the things that they left out or changed. So I was like, it's not for me. It's for someone else, and that's fine. But
they changed a lot.
they
They
changed
took
all
so
the
many
tropes are
liberties.
just like done. It's
The
weird.
characters,
Well, so
completely
apparently,
different.
according to one of my friends, the author told Shonda Rhimes,
Yeah.
she said the only thing that I care about is that they stay with their book partners. You can do whatever else you want.
Which is like, I just feel like make your own story then. Don't adapt whatever. But anyway, we've got less than 2 minutes left, so
Yeah.
we'll have to pick this up next month.
Oh yeah.
Bridgerton corner. All right, well then I will talk to you guys. I'll see you in the Discord.
Yeah.
And yes.
Oh,
Join us next month for House in the Cerulean Sea. Yeah.
before
Thanks for listening.
All right. Bye everyone.
Bye, guys.